Hello, Electric Love. Shout out to Frosted Beats. I've got my fox on tonight for my winter goddess look. And I just wanted to say how much I love Electric Love and Frosted Beats and the opportunity to be part of this again today. I really had an amazing time when I taught at Electric Love a few years ago. There's so many amazing people involved, and I fell in love with the location on the river there, and I came back again the following year. Even though I usually go to and teach at a different festival every year, it was like I just knew so many wonderful people that were part of it, and such a great experience. So more power to everyone involved in this. This workshop is something that I think that if you just stay for a few minutes, you'll pick up something that you might be able to use in your next festival or in your life, in your daily life, because it's called Befriend Your Nervous System, Stay Calm, Party On. And what does that mean? People actually experience at festivals sometimes the most highlights of their summers or their lives sometimes, but they also have intense experiences of stress. So in our lives, the important thing is to be able to be present, to be able to enjoy our lives, even though we have setbacks. Things like losing our phone, losing our friends, our favorite hat. Sometimes these things pull us out of the moment and keep us from actually enjoying ourselves for moments or even hours or days sometimes. So the ideas, these are some quick ideas about how to quickly reset yourself so that you can optimize your experience of enjoying whatever you're doing, whether it's a festival or it's just being with your friends or being in your own experiences with your relationships, in your own stressful experiences in your life. So to start with, can I get you to just grab a piece of paper or just make a mental note about how you're feeling currently physically? Where are your shoulders? How do you feel in terms of your neck or any pain that you might be experiencing? Just rate that between 1 to 5 physically right now. How do you feel? And also please rate yourself mentally, emotionally too, between 1 to 5. So physically and mentally, what I'm looking for is a little bit of awareness for where you're at right now, because that's one thing that you can use when you're going through experiences to help intervene, because it's that awareness that make you aware that, oh, okay, hey, I could really use a deep breath right now. I could use a glass of water. I haven't had any water in a few hours. So there's lots of simple things like those two examples that can really quickly reset you and help you actually function in a lot more effective way, especially if there's things that you're doing that are that you're adding to your experience to enhance your experience, which are quite common, of course, in a festival setting, where it's something that you might add some flowers. You might smoke some flowers. You might use our forest friends and use some fungi or some mushrooms. You may take some letter of the alphabet, like A or E or K or who knows what. But part of that experience is your nervous system, again, is going to be really what you're negotiating with from that point on. Once you take any of that in any setting, is your nervous system is going to be really what your experience and your what allows you to experience whatever is going to happen. And so let's negotiate with that nervous system with some simple things. The first thing is that people often become dehydrated in these experiences, because the first thing that happens when you're dehydrated is you forget to drink water, because your brain actually becomes dehydrated before other aspects of your body. For example, your organs will be spared of water because your brain is so focused on making sure that you're going to be safe. It'll actually spare your organs and keep them hydrated, but your brain will start to become dehydrated, so then you don't even remember you're thirsty. You can end up eating food and doing other things because you don't even recognize that you're thirsty. So first of all, when you go into any kind of situation, especially if you're using any of those alphabets, please make sure you have some water with you before you even get started. Before you even go into your experience, bring some with you. Bring some portable water of some sort. And moving on from that is the next thing. Is the simple thing is breath. We often let's take a deep breath right now. Put one hand on your belly, one hand up here, and breathe into the lower hand. So get your lower hand to move out, not your upper hand. So now this is using your whole breath. So it should go out when you breathe in, and it should go, it should collapse when you breathe it out. So expand like a balloon. Your belly goes out, and then exhale goes in. So the simple act of returning to belly breathing. So stay with me and do belly breathing while while you're listening at this moment. Just belly breathing in itself immediately brings in a parasympathetic response. So your stress drops just like that. As soon as you do a few belly breaths, you go from flight to slowly start to relax, and your nervous system again starts to respond to something as simple as drinking some water or having a few breaths. There's some other really important things that we can do. There's some actual important things that we can actually bring into these situations that I wanted to point out that might be really helpful that you may not have come across in your life. Here's some examples here. Have you ever heard of rescue remedy? People often heard of this. It's like an old-time hippie thing from the 70s. This is a nice little spray form. And the idea is you just, you're feeling stressed out. You recognize that you're going through a stressful experience. You just give yourself a couple of shots, 1, 2. But the trick with this is that you have to just have nothing but water and nothing to interfere with, because this is homeopathic. So there's a whole bunch of different flowers that are distilled into this. And what does rescue remedy mean? It's when you need to be rescued. So it's an emotional first aid tool. So this is just a homeopathic method of doing that. So this is the spray method, but there's even these fun little gummies that you can take along with you. And then they have a nighttime one. So maybe after you've been playing with whatever it is that you've been enjoying in your evening and you want to bring yourself back down and you want to go to sleep, this is a nighttime rescue. So that's a few products that you could bring into your experience with whatever you're doing, and to enjoy yourself, to, like I said, enhance your experience. Because there's nothing wrong with enhancing what you're doing, as long as you're doing it in a way that is, first of all, balanced. You know, the logical thing where you take a little bit and you wait an hour and see how you feel. Most people know that part, but how about, you know, the simple ways that you can support yourself while you're actually there? Because that's really going to maximize what you're there for, which is to make the most of whatever it is that you're enjoying. It's usually some wonderful music and some wonderful people. But whatever it is, maybe it's just being processing some emotions that you're going through. Maybe it's just what we're going through with COVID, where we're learning how to enjoy ourselves when we're alone too. So here's some other products that I think are quite important. 5-HTP, have you ever heard of that stuff? So this is something that if you're going to actually take certain letters of the alphabet like M, E, actually this is very important to even front load into your system before you even get going, and then take for a few days afterwards. 5-HTP will help balance out the serotonin imbalance that happens when you take certain things. Certain chemicals will then deplete your natural serotonin levels for a while, and then you'll have, sometimes people have an emotional crash or some kind of even physical crash afterwards due to, you know, a lack of self-care. And some of these things can actually offset the experiences of enjoying yourself really great, but then, like, you know, grinding your jaw because you're actually stressed. Did you know that? Here's a fascinating thing that you may not be aware of, that you can tune into next time you're in a very exciting experience. There's a very fine line between anxiety and excitement. There's a fine line between balancing that, and being able to balance that is often a few things like taking deep breaths, drinking some water, and maybe taking some support like this. Here's another wonderful thing that people might want to tune into. This might be backwards on camera, but it's called L-Theanine. This is a 25 milligram one. I know people that have gone off antidepressants and things like that just by taking this one supplement. It's an amino acid. L-Theanine is for mental calm. And so it's actually something that some people will just take with coffee. So L-Theanine and coffee together can be like a really nice thing where you feel mental calm, but you get the energy from the coffee. So so it's just like a little supplemental tip that you can also use in the environment of you want to stay calm and party on by befriending your nervous system. These are things that you can bring into these experiences where you're maybe taxing your nervous system a little bit more than you normally would be, and by asking it to do things like stay up late, or you know, like I said, enhancing your experience in some ways, perhaps. Other ways, like I said, it's often sometimes people where they're just wanting to drop the stress of something and be able to move on. You know, they don't want to spend the whole day looking for that friend that they came to the festival with or to the party with, or, you know, to be able to actually move out in our own lives when we're like missing being at that party, missing being with our friends, having those opportunities to be together. So some of these things we can use in our daily life right now. These particular products are useful for us right now. The trick with homeopathics, and I may have started this and not finished earlier, but the important thing is to use it with just water. So that was Rescue Remedy. So before and after for about 20 minutes, try to stick to water before you use it for 20 and after, because it's about integration. So our homeopathics require integration, and other foods and substances will interfere with that integration, and you'll lose the benefits of that particular thing with it, just with the rescue anyways. So some other ideas that you can try is, this is something that that I love showing people because it's just the quickest, easiest thing. I'm going to throw a bunch of things at you, so if it's hard for you to pick all this stuff up, don't even worry about it. Try to remember one thing out of this quick little 15-minute little workshop, because these are tools that you can show someone, that you can benefit someone else, that if you come across someone that's stressed, these are things that you can actually help them with. That's the other thing I love about this workshop, is that I encourage people that learn these things like you are right now to go share them with someone, especially someone that you think might need some support, some mental emotional support, or might just be having a hard day. So here's a really quick little amazing one from Chinese medicine. It's called a zip up. So the way to remember it is like, pretend you have a zipper in your hand and you're zipping up. So all you're doing is just zipping up the front line of your body. So you're just zipping up all the way from the ground up. And then the trick is to go all the way up and not bring your hand back down. So the trick with zip ups is you come all the way up and all the way out. And ideally you take a breath at the same time. You can just use your hand too. So the cool thing about a zip up is you can zip other people up. I can zip you up right now. So take a breath with me. And you can zip your friend up at a distance. Zip them up. And now that I've showed you what a zip up is, the way it works is it's working on the basis of, in Chinese medicine, something called conception vessel, which is the area between your crown and your first chakra. So the idea is that you're using the energy of your hand to just seal that. And why would you do that? It's like a quick reset. So something upsets you, someone cuts you off in traffic, someone, you see your favorite friend, your favorite guy on TV gets shot. You're just like, reset. And now that I've showed you, you might notice it when people are zipping you down. So people might, not unintentionally usually, they'll say, okay, be quiet and sit down now. Everyone be quiet, sit down. Everyone, so you'll notice people will do this collective thing where they'll actually move the downwards, and people will feel this feeling of like, oh, okay, sorry, I'll sit down now. So let's do the opposite and zip up, zip each other up, and take a moment, zip yourself up if you need to. Have a reset for some reason. You want to just, it's like one of those quick ones where you're just like, did he just say that to me? I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to take that on. I'm just going to move on from that. It's helpful at work if you deal with coworkers. Sometimes I deal with that with some coworkers that I experience, so I don't know if you ever do. So anyways, that's one example for quick resets that people won't even notice you're doing it, and you can do it for those coworkers too that are also obviously stressed in that moment. So there you go. Here's another wonderful one. It's called a hookup. So now I'm not going to show you the full hookup because it takes 3-4 minutes to do, but what you're doing is you're just crossing your left leg over right. I'm going to do it standing up here. But you can do this sitting down, of course. Left ankle over right. So I've got my left ankle over my right, my left wrist over my right, and I'm bringing my fingers up and going up the middle. And then you bring your tongue up on the roof of your mouth, and you stay in that position. Now the trick with the hookup, it's very powerful. It works great at clearing anything that's negative that you're experiencing, negative emotions. You just have to do it long enough. You have to stay in this figure 8 position for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. So if you do that, what you're doing while you're doing that 2 minutes is you breathe in, you put your tongue on the roof of your mouth, you breathe in and put your tongue up. You can keep your tongue up there if you want to for the whole time, but then you can also relax your tongue on the way down if you want to. So you're basically staying in figure 8 for about 2 minutes, breathing in, tongue up. The tongue up helps your limbic brain balance. The figure 8 clears negative emotions very powerfully. anger, frustration, sadness, grief, things that are like strong emotions, you can go into the washroom and do this. You can do a hookup for basically a total hookup takes about 3-4 minutes to do. You can find more information about that on my YouTube channel, which is sukifox.com. On YouTube, it's Suki P Fox, I believe, on YouTube. And then on Facebook, I'm Suki Fox, and then my website is sukifox.com. Please look up the hookup if you want more information on that one. That one's a really important one to share. It's one of those things I do every day if I'm feeling any kind of upset feelings. I'm so pleased to be able to participate and share some information with you today that might be helpful in your life. Enjoy Frosted Beat. I know I'm going to be dancing in my living room here. I'm going to be enjoying myself, and such a pleasure to be taking part. So pleased to be asked to do that with you guys. I love everyone there. Bye for now.